I'm just Nick, and this is the Catalinbread Pareidolia pedal. Well, for once, when I say that this pedal is unique, I'm not exaggerating. Not even a tiny little bit. Catalinbread recently invented this pedal, and their inspiration was the sought-after brown-face Fender amp tremolos that modulate volume, much as most tremolos do, make it go up and down. But also seemed to have something else going on that sounded a little bit like phasing, or even a little bit of pitch shifting, even though it's not a pitch shifting vibrato exactly. So what the folks at Catalinbread apparently did is built a circuit that splits the high and low frequencies and applies a tremolo to them, modulates their amplitude or their volume, but also puts them a little bit out of phase with each other. So the highs are doing a tremolo thing, the lows are doing a tremolo thing, but the division between the two frequency ranges is not absolute. They overlap a little in the middle, and where they overlap in the middle, you're actually getting some phase shifting. That sort of swimmy, washy sound that you have with phasers and flangers and univibes and other types of effects that use phasing to produce their effect. So up here, kind of tremolo, beautiful, buttery, smooth, sort of pulsing tremolo. Down here, tremolo. In the middle, just a hint of something else. Just enough harmonic interest to really get our attention and to make us realize that what we're hearing is not a typical tremolo sound. And if we go a little bit more extreme with depth and rate, we begin to get a little bit more of a pronounced effect that's a little bit like a univibe but more subtle. And notably does not reduce your lows. It does not wash things out, because that phasing is really happening in just the mid-range frequencies. This is a really interesting and useful effect that can give you all of the sort of pulsing of a tremolo with something more, or give you some of what you love about a univibe or a phaser without overpowering your sound and without, importantly, taking out the lows. The reason that is a particularly useful characteristic of this pedal is that often when you use phasers and univibes with distortions before or after them, it can make them sound really kind of thin, and your sound can lose a lot of its sort of punch, and you can get lost in a mix very quickly. Well, let's try this particular effect out on the distortion channel of the Car Slant 6V behind me. It's set for a pretty distorted, kind of saturated sound. Here it is without the put on the pedal. So as you can hear, you get a lot of those sort of cues or a lot of that kind of psychedelic feeling, I guess, of a univibe or a phaser, but somehow everything holds together a lot more, and if anything, gets a little bit thicker. When you switch this pedal on, you, if anything, kind of fill out the mids a little bit. You'll hear that on the clean channel. here's the clean sound without the pedal, and here it is with the pedal. You're definitely not losing mids, low mids, and lows. If anything, you're gaining a little, and you can use the volume knob to even accentuate that. Here we are without the pedal, with the pedal. Gets really, really nicely fat. And again, I can't really overstate how useful this is if you're trying to combine this type of effect with distortion. So what can I tell you? If you want this sound, and it's a very useful one, you can't really get it anywhere else. You should get a hold of the folks at Rock and Roll Vintage and tell them that you need your Pareidolia right now. If you're looking for something that's more over the top or in your face, you need a phaser, univibe, or a flanger, this is not those. It's not supposed to be. If you're looking for just a plain tremolo, that's what you want. This is not that. What this is a tremolo with just a little bit of extra magic. Till next time, just Nick.